watching good people lose everything. I'm done watching men, women I know, strong, kind, good-hearted people spiral into chaos because the world has become too heavy, too loud, and we're all too disconnected. We're losing friends, we're losing families, marriages, kids, ourselves, and I know you feel it too, because things, they're getting harder. Distractions, they're getting louder, and the vices, more seductive than ever. Alcohol is everywhere, pills are normal, porn is casual, screens are our escape, and we're drowning in a society that's telling us comfort is the goal, when in reality, comfort is killing us all. But here's the truth. You were built for more. You were built to overcome.
Kyle, that's powerful stuff, man. I really, really enjoy your content, and that one stuck out to me. And I just wanted to start with that because I want to ask you, and I'm going to give you time to tell your story, but I want to ask you where that came from. What? That's not a broken man right there. Where'd that come from?
That's definitely not a broken man. And you know where it comes from, Dan, is I've just watched too many good friends, struggle with addiction and struggle with, not living to their purpose, right? So I was a guy back in the past that really struggled with all the vices, the addictions, the hard times, broken relationships. And once you break free from that, you start to regain your power, right? And I'm just sick of watching people go down the path it's almost like a helpless path, right? You feel helpless when you're in it. You think nobody cares. You think nobody's like there to help you, and you feel really alone. So, we'll probably get into my story a little bit, but I really dove deep into motivation when I was trying to break free because I was that guy. I felt lost, I felt alone, and I felt like nobody was there to help me. But one thing that really, really helped me was the motivational videos, kind of like that one, but a little bit different because it just showed me that, it is possible. These guys can do it. I can do it too. So all of that bundled together, basically, I just really, truly want to help men break free from the barriers holding them back. Because I want them to feel like they're not alone, right, Dan?
Yeah, that's well said, man. So tell me your story.
Yeah.
Like where were you? Where were you before all this started?
Yeah, it wasn't always easy then. And then when I was growing up, hockey was obviously my number one focus. I wasn't always this guy. In fact, not too long ago, I was everything I swore I'd never be. I was on my way to play pro hockey, a kid everyone thought was going to make it, the one who had it all lined up, the talent, the work ethic, the future. And one stupid night when I was 16 years old, one decision, one reckless, selfish, broken decision put me in a vehicle accident, nearly killed someone. And basically it was all over after that. The dream, the respect, the sense of who I was completely gone. And that moment sent me spiraling out of control. The guilt, the anger, then came the drugs, the drinking, the broken relationships. And before you knew it, Dan, I was actually sent to juvenile jail. One bad decision after another. Obviously, it started from the accident, and then, they gave me a second chance. And I ruined that second chance by continuing to drink and not give a hell. I don't know if you want to swear, but give a fuck. I was sitting there in the jail, and you know what? I was looking around at all these people in the jail, and I was just like, I don't belong here. I'm not like these guys. I was 19 years old or 18 years old. But here's the truth: most people won't admit is I was like those guys. I made my bed, and now I was literally sleeping in it. And even after the jail, even after saying I was going to turn it around, I didn't fix the root of the problem. I kept spiraling. I kept wasting years. I kept drinking. I quit for like a day or two or a month. You think you'd be winning, but eventually the same problems just kept piling up. Until one day I finally, tried to own my own bullshit. And I heard about a thing called 75 Hard. And I know we talked about it together, Dan. But I was it was like right when it first started coming out, and it was Andy Frisella. I listened to his podcast all the time. Highly recommend. his MFCEO project. He started talking about 75 hard, and then he started doing it, and then he was still talking about it on his podcast. And I was like, you know what? This is what I need. Like, this is the thing I need the most. And I kept telling myself I needed it, but I was still drinking, and I was still doing the drugs, and I was still breaking all the promises to myself. And in my head, there's a voice in my head saying, like, Kyle, like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. So like, I'm sure people can relate to this, but it's like you hear it, but you don't actually take the action until one day you decide. You finally have that night that's crazy, out of control, and you finally decide, this is my day one, and I'm going to finally start keeping a promise to myself. And that was it, man. I quit drinking. It lit a fire under me. And like, literally, I quit drinking. I quit the drugs. I quit the cigarettes. And I finally became the father, you know, I could be proud of, and became the man my family could truly look up to. And the heart, like,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You said something earlier that really resonates with me. And you said that when you were back in juvie, and I'll call it juvie. I don't know if that's what we're supposed to call it. I actually worked in an open custody facility when I was in university. So I get it. Not a fun place.
Yeah.
But when you were back there and you're looking around, you're saying, this isn't me. I'm not one of these guys. And you said something after that. You said, nobody wants to admit that, yes, those are the decisions you made, and you have to figure out that you are that guy. For me, that's the beginning of the path. That's repenting, right? That's changing who you are. As soon as you admit that's who you are and that's who you can't be, that's like the first decision you have to make. When did that happen for you? When did you decide, oh, no, I am that guy and I can't be that guy anymore?
The moment I got, actually, you know what's funny? It was on my way to, like, in the car going there, because I knew I was going, and you're like in this little like cell in the car, and then I don't know if one of the guards said my name, but one of the other guys in there knew who I was, and I knew who he was, and I knew he was not a good guy, and I knew he was like, and I just was sitting there for a 2-hour drive, and in the back of the cell being like, I cannot believe I'm in this vehicle with this person going to jail. And that was the moment I decided, really, like, hey, like, it's time to snap out of it. And it's funny because I'll tell you a little story about juvie. So they have like, we'll go deep here. So they have like a system in there that you get like stars, and you get the more stars you have, the later you can stay up, like more food, like you get more, I guess, like privileges. Yeah. Exactly. So there's guys, like, I was in this like block or whatever you want to call it, real hard, but in this block, and nobody was at the top of the stars. Like, they have it on the wall, and like nobody in the entire block or whatever was like the top performer in that. And I walked in, I seen the star system, and I've seen that you can stay up later, and you got all these extra privileges, like longer showers and all these things. And I was like, I'm going to be the top. And that was my focus. And within 8 days, oh yeah, that's another thing. You get to like be part of the work team there. So you get like, you don't have to sit in your cell as much. You can go like clean the floors and do all these things that like, do things actually. And like nobody gets on the work team unless they are like there for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, like long-term guys, right? So I was like, I'm going to be on that work team, and I'm going to be staying up the latest. And like, that was my mindset. And within 7-8 days, I was the top leader in there, and I was on the work team, and everybody was pissed that I got the work and I got to stay up. Like, I was literally, there was like an hour in the day where I got to stay up later by myself, and I got to like literally watch TV and like take it in. And you know, that's when I started proving to myself, like, you know, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Like, you literally can. Like, you could be literally 2 days prior to that, I'm sitting there like rock bottom, worst, no, I'm going to jail, no, I fucked up, no, all these bad things I did. And then like a week later, I'm in the worst conditions, but I'm mentally at like the top peak.
So then that's still a long road to recovery though, because then you're years later, and you realize you weren't going to be a lawbreaker anymore at that point. It's not like, you know, like, I think we make mistakes and people think, well, you're just going to turn it around in 1 second. You do, but it's a lot of 1 seconds.
I think one of the problems is you start doing good, and then you start trusting yourself more, and then you start like being in those situations more often, like around the drinking and around the friends, and then you think you're good, and then you start slow, and then you know, those old habits and the old things you did, they always creep back in. They always come up and find a way to haunt you. And I feel like if you're the type of person where you haven't been able to cope with those things properly, like the drinking and the alcohol and the drugs, and then you think you can quit for a period of time and then go back and just kind of dabble in it, there's a higher power out there that's going to remind you that that is not allowed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get reminded real quickly that, you know, you shouldn't be drinking and that you are still breaking the promise that you said you'd do, whether it was a year ago or a couple of years ago or 3 years ago. So I really try to teach men, like, hey, if you're going to say no, then mean it, right? So say no forever, and because, or else you're going to think you're good, and then 5 years later you're going to end up drinking again, losing your wife, losing your kids, losing your job, because you didn't actually deal with it. Like I think you need to quit forever and become the person that you're meant to be, and then stay on that path, because and you have to have a why that's really pushing you to be that person, right? Because as soon as you start, if you don't have a big enough why, it's easy to fall back into the trap, the comfort trap, the vices and all those things, right, Dan? I'm sure you've seen it in your own life.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's well, it's interesting because drinking's a funny thing, right? I was brought up Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
We drink. You know, I mean, my family, that's one of the things that we're good at, and
Same.
I don't say that lightly, because it's you. I think people are born with the proclivity. If you're Irish and you're from the old country, you call it the failing. It's
Yeah,
called the fail. He's got the failing, and that means you can't handle your booze.
for sure.
But the problem is, I think booze has become such a part of our culture now, and it's in everything, and it's around everything, and every celebration has got it, and every movie has got it, and every, you know, I mean, every anti-hero, every hero will have a scotch, will have it. Like, there's very few recovered alcoholic heroes in movies,
That's
right?
right.
There's a few, but usually they're battling it, or they're it's just part of the deal, and they've just got the James Bond guy that's got total control, right? So I feel like it's a big battle. And then now, because in Canada we're legal with marijuana too, all of a
More
sudden
than that,
we're
more than that. Like,
totally up. Oh, dude.
there's guys
Yeah.
literally, you can just order like these hard drugs to your house now, and it's just like, how are we supposed to win? Like, how, like it's so, like you mentioned it when what you were just saying, Dan, like the movies and like how they kind of, it's like indoctrination, right? Like, and like for our generation of men, I know you're a little bit older than me, but it started probably when you guys were like in high school and stuff, and then through our like whole childhood and through middle school, elementary, like all these, like from the moment I was 4, like I said, like when I was on my way to pro hockey and stuff. But I remember watching all the movies, like American Pie, like all, like they were all about drinking and getting screwed up. And if I look at all my friends, man, that's literally all they cared about. Like all we cared about when we were in high school was drinking and partying
Yeah.
and
And
the
trying to get
attractions.
laid.
Yeah, and I really
Mhm.
strongly believe it was like from the movies, and like that's all we ever seen. And it was like, yeah, it's crazy because all of those men, not all of them, I can't say all of them. Like I have a lot of good friends that have also broken free and quit drinking, but the ones that continue to do it and that have done it from high school or middle school or the like their whole entire lives, they're the ones that are struggling right now. They're the ones that are losing everything. And that's why I have so much passion for this, is because, you know, like a lot of these people have kids, right? And I'm a
Yeah.
father, and like I could never do that to my daughter like ever again, right? Like I never did it. Like obviously I got good before her, but I just sit there and I think, man, when I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, I could never do it. Like, and but like you feel powerless when you're in the moment, right? And so I feel for these
Well, and
guys.
it's important too that we realize that, you know, like even Freud said that that life is so difficult that we have to have a distraction, and alcohol is one of those distractions, right? And that's not exactly how he said it, but that's what he said. And so people, because everything is so easy to get now, because we've got the option of doing it, because, you know, so back in the day we'd get our dopamine hits from work, right? You go out and you
Yeah,
chop down a tree and you chop up logs and
that's what
you
it
you got
should
a
be.
fire for your family. Hey, that's a great day, right? I just spent a day doing that. What a dopamine hit. Now we scroll on our phones, right? It's between porn and booze and drugs, and it's disempowering. But to what you were saying before, yeah, it was long before the 80s, man. It was like this, it was a feminist revolution of the 60s, and the 70s became demonization of testosterone. And so when I was born in 72, by the time I was in grade school, they were already trying to stop me from being active.
Yeah.
They were already sit down, sit down, sit down, sit. I mean, boys can't do that. Like some guys can, man. I was never, if I didn't have sports, I'd have been lost, and
Seriously.
obviously I think,
Seriously.
yeah,
I agree
because it gives you
100%.
something else to concentrate on besides the fact that you're not supposed to be aggressive, assertive. You're supposed to just accept the fact that what I heard in grade school first was that boys drool, girls are cool, or some damn thing, right? And that messaging just keeps on coming. I know it sounds innocent, right?
Yeah,
But
seriously.
it's like it's just this nonstop engine of negativity towards masculinity that is so, to me, it's like on one side it used to make me really angry and I'd get pissed off and I'd like I won't watch a lot of movies because of it. I just get tired of it.
Same. I'm the same way.
Like there was a study done, and I'll have to pull it out because I'm going to reference it, but there was a study done where they took the 100 most famous characters that were male in sitcoms over the last 30 years or something, and there was only one that wasn't a complete failure.
Really?
Like wasn't, like one wasn't like just real weak.
Yeah, that's
One wasn't,
crazy.
and it was Tim Allen in Home Improvement, right? Because he actually had answers,
We
and he was
love
actually
him.
right sometimes. He would accept when he was wrong, and he had like somebody he'd go to for. It was like this whole, and everybody else is like a Homer Simpson or Al Bundy or and it's like these idiots that's not my dad. That wasn't, you know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
never who my dad was. My dad he was strong. He made mistakes, but he owned up to them.
Yeah, I think we're
Mirror all the
lacking
time.
that, especially in the like in the generation, like my age group that have kids and stuff. One thing that really like makes me upset is when they just don't show up for their kids. Like you'll go out for dinner and you'll see kids on like iPads or phones. So you just see that and it's just like, man, what are you teaching your kid? Like you're teaching your kid to have zero social skills, zero like ability to communicate properly with a human being. And it's just become so normalized that it's like you're that lazy as a parent that you can't literally have a conversation or tell them to put the screen away for 1 hour, or you're so scared of your kid freaking out on you and throwing a fit because you won't give them the screen that you just can't deal with it. You can't even discipline your own child. How are you going to discipline yourself? Like, and just the fact, like, what we're teaching these kids, it just roused me. And like, going back to my story and all that stuff, it's like, this is my why. Like, it's like, I want to save these kids, man, because it's brutal. It's like, they're just little kids and somebody's got to be a man and somebody's got to show them like, this is how you do it. And that's not allowed. And this is what you should be doing. And like, get outside and play. Like the screen, like there's something in the screens. Like, I truly believe it. Like you try to take a screen away from a kid, man, that's like accustomed to it, and like they are crazy, man. Like they will lose their stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's easier to just give it back to them, but sometimes
Well,
the
and then we're
hard.
leading by example because we're sitting there at supper and they're seeing this, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then they've got
100%.
a screen too, and everybody's quiet, and we're sitting at home watching TV, and nobody's watching TV. They're not all watching the same thing. We're sitting. There's nobody playing games anymore, right? It's just so we're literally programming them to be programmed.
100%. And like that's a big part of me with my daughter is like we just try to do as much. So like just some real talk with her is like she loves being outside and doing things, and like she's been like that since she was young. So we made it like a pact. Me and my wife, we were making a pact. Like we were gonna give her like all the experiences in the world. Had her out on the boat like when she was 7 days old, out in restaurants like consistently, like just getting her in the environments, like taking her places and doing these things. And now she's just like she just loves it. She just understands it. I can put her in the boat. She just sits there in the seat. She loves it. So she was 11 months old. We had her surfing, like she was surfing with me, and just loving it. And just the other day she went again, like we're like, do you want to go surfing? And she was just like, I want to go surfing. And then so she's just over 2 now, and she's like sitting there and she's just eager to do this, and she just has this like fire inside of her to just do more and be more. Like take her to the water park, she's just crazy. The park, she's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And just watching her just be like, this is literally all I care about. is like being active and doing things is super rewarding. And then you see it in her, like just the way she is as a person too. Like she doesn't have phones, she doesn't have screens, she doesn't deal with any of that stuff. But like I can literally sit her down and have a conversation with her, and like she literally understands and snaps out of it. And is like, okay, this is real life. And like that discipline started early with her, right? So for me, my wife, she's a realtor. So for the first year of my daughter's life, I was the guy with her. Like, so she had that masculine energy around her all the time. And like, I wouldn't say it's like hard discipline, but it was like, hey, this is how we do things. This is like, okay, bedtime. And like that started early. And I feel like if you miss that in the early stages of having a child, like don't have you as a father aren't showing up, and you're not being there, and you're not showing and teaching these masculine things, or like the discipline, like as an early childhood development, I feel like you struggle to ever get it back. Like if I see some of my other friends, like their kids are crazy, there's no control, and it just all starts with them, right? So I feel like you can fix it, but it just is a lot harder, right? So um oh yeah, that's
Well, you
another
got to,
thing.
you always have to lead by example, right? And so as
100%.
long as, so even if you're coming back, because I think you can come back, you know,
I agree.
I think that men do come back, and I think
Well, I
you
did.
have to,
So
yeah, yeah, exactly, right. And so did I,
yes.
you know, so did I, yeah, I mean, you come back and you just have to be, to me, well, you have to be who God wants you to be, which is somebody that is sacrificial, but also honest, and who's is ready to help people grow, but is also, you know, like is also able to understand that they have to grow, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to be willing to, as far as I'm concerned, and you know, the way I try to live my life is be as sacrificial as Jesus.
Yeah.
But he also wasn't a pushover, right? Like he got put on the cross because he was a servant for us. He took care of us. He didn't, it wasn't because he was weak. It was he did that by design. He did
Yeah.
that knowing he was doing it, right?
Well, you
And so to
said
me,
it.
it's like,
It wasn't because he's weak, right? Like, because you, like, if you want to truly break free from your habits and your life that's holding you back, you have to, like, literally go in the trenches and do the hard work. And you have to show up every day and every minute. And it's not easy. Like, it's a lot of hard work. And you got to build the skills. And the main skills you got to build are discipline. Like, will you do the things you said you were going to do? Because if you don't and you always quit, and you'll be a quitter the rest of your life. You know, I was that person, and I'm sure that you've spoke to it too, Dan. But like, it starts with your day one, and it starts with a decision, and then it starts with like, I am not going to quit on this. Like, and if you quit, then you're just proving your old self wrong. And I did the 75 hard, and I know you did too, Dan. But one thing
yeah,
that I want to just touch on is like, you are always going to have that voice in your head, like the voice that's literally, you have two voices. You have your voice that's your willpower and you're strong, and then you have this other voice that's literally the one that's going to talk you out of everything. And that voice is always louder at the beginning. And the way to quiet the voice that is loud is to overpower it with the other voice by doing the hard things. And every time he tells you, "Oh, just take it easy today. You've done enough," or you've already done 7 days of this. You could take a break. You could eat that cake, or you could go, like, you could miss a workout. Like, as soon as you do it once, that other voice has won, and you're just giving back your power. And so it starts, and like, you got to stick to like a strong plan. Like, you need to write down what you want to do every day, and then give yourself X amount of days, and then don't break that no matter what. And if you can start honing the skill of discipline and owning that voice that's in your head that's telling you not to do something, you will win back your life. And and it's not easy, but on the other side of the hard work is the life you truly want, right?
yeah, I agree with you, and I know a lot of the Andy stuff because I got into Facella while I was doing 75 hard. So I've been on that. I've been playing that 75 hard routine for probably three and a half years,
It's addicting once you
and
start, right? Like, because it becomes a way of
well,
your
it is,
life,
and it's
right?
so to me, I had to evolve it, right? Like, because like I've mentioned a couple times, I'm a Christian guy, and to
Yeah.
me, there's something on Sunday that has to happen,
Right.
right? And it has to be church, and it has to be, you know, there has to be something given, like it's a day of rest, and not that I don't get exercise, not that I don't make it about, because it's all about my family, it's all about church, that's what it is, but. But also, what for me, it's also evolved into something that I'm now doing, and we're not calling it 75 hard, but I'm doing it with my wife
Yeah.
because she's part of my business, and we're just calling it a season of work.
Nice.
And so we've got a 3-month period before our first event in October. And in that 3-month period, it's throughout Monday through Friday is we're 2 workouts a day. We're following our diet. We're drinking the water. We're no booze. Friday night, I have a glass of wine with my wife. And why? Well, because it's date night, and that's what we give each other, but then Saturday comes around, and Saturday's fishing day, right? Saturday, I got to be on, right?
Well, you got it.
And so then so it's like, it's evolved because it had to evolve. And a lot of it was because I felt like I wasn't able to put the program above God.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't. Right. And that's what happened to me. And I don't know, like, to me, I don't know that I would have got there without doing 75 hard.
Yeah. You graduated though. Like you did it, right? So you did the hard work, and I feel like I know what you're saying. And
you do. I think you have to do it. You have to commit to something. You have to finish it.
You have to finish it.
Because it was like 3 times I tried to do it.
Yeah. It takes a while, man. And like for me, even I've done it, like this is now the 5th time, and I'm on day 25 today. Even when I start again, like there's a voice inside my head being like, "No, buddy, like that is hard work. Like you know what it took last time, you know what I mean? It's like there's always, and like at this point, it's like not to like quit and do all the, like to get my life back. It's just literally to like get my momentum back. Like you'll start drifting a little bit, and you won't be doing like the things at the same like intent that you used to. And now I know I can fire this program up and literally get all that back. And just to speak to what you're talking about, Andy Frisell actually has a chunk in his book where he does talk about the Christians in church and like adjusting it so you can still like be spiritual and still live in that, like with that intent as well. So like obviously I feel like for me, if I would have like changed the program, I wouldn't be here today. So you do have to graduate through that and do the hard part. But I feel even now, like it's just become a way of our life for me and my wife. Like we always read every day, and we usually work out twice a day anyways. Like I'll always go to the gym in the morning, sing. Like I have to start my day the same way every single day, which is the gym and like, visualization and those things. And then we'll always go for like a walk either way. Like even if I'm not on the program, we'll take our dogs for a walk. And like, so like, you know what I mean? Like, so you end up like the 5 critical tasks are actually not hard, but for somebody at rock bottom, it's more about
they're hard.
It's hard because
10
you have
pages
to do
is hard for somebody at rock bottom, man. And all of a sudden I'm the same, man. You wake up at like, now it's not even on the reading part, isn't even on a list.
Seriously.
Right. The hydration part is because I have to track it, because I got to make sure I'm getting enough water. Because that's one thing that I'll just, it's a lot, right? It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But you're right. It becomes part of who you are. But you have to make it. You have to make it that. And that's habit creation. And that's, I mean, that goes back to, you took a long time to create the habits to make yourself unhealthy.
Exactly. And that's a good point, Dan. Like seriously.
Right.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people struggling. So
yeah, for sure. So what do you think? So all the stuff we've talked about, and maybe you want to put something else there. What is the most, or what are the top 3 most negative things affecting men today? What do you think? Like,
I definitely think, I feel like it's becoming better now. Like it used to be alcohol and drugs and stuff, just because like we were always around it and we were always doing it. And if you weren't doing it,
sorry, not just men, just like if you're looking at men as a whole, so your daughter is going to grow up and hopefully marry a good man and continue your legacy, right?
Yeah.
So what is that man contending with as he's coming into this next generation, at hope, 2 or 3 years old, kind of?
It's self-confidence, right? You have to have the belief in yourself. And I feel like men don't have that, right? So I feel like the men struggling are lacking this self-belief. They think they can't do something because it's the way they were brought up, their circumstances, the life where they live, all these things. They give themselves all these excuses, essentially, Dan, right? So I feel like self-belief is the biggest thing affecting men right now. I also think our circumstances, by this stuff that's like pushed in our face as men, like I'll talk to it about it, but like Instagram, like if you were to just grab one of your buddy's phones, Instagram is designed to just plaster all this like girls butts, like, you know what I mean, these Instagram models, and like you'll grab some girl's phone and like go on their phone, and then it's the opposite. And so we are literally in a day and age right now where we're literally fighting AI algorithms that are trying to break you. And that's why screens are so popular and they're so addicting, is because you keep seeing all this stuff and then you start like second guessing your life, and you're like, oh well, they have all this stuff, or they have this hot girl, or they have all, like, so then you have this self-doubt that you can't have it, and then you stack that on everything else that's getting thrown in your face all day. That leads to the drinking, and that leads to the drugs, and that leads to, you not getting any closer to where you want to be. So it's
You know what? I gotta bring this up. So Jordan Peterson, I listened to an interview the other day, and he was talking about women on OnlyFans. He
yeah,
said,
it's
he
crazy.
said, so women are on OnlyFans. He said, and people actually think they're women. And the interviewer said, well, what do you mean they think they're women? Well, they're not women. Whatever they are, they're not women, because women can't be in 1,000 places at once. They're a succubus. They're a drain on the soul of men. And that maybe the person behind it can grow out of not being that. And that's not what he said. That's what I'm saying. But he said that the people that are, so every time you're talking about Instagram, you're saying, it turns into butts on Instagram. It turns into, they're always trying to drive you down that algorithm that leads you to porn and
Exactly.
overt sexuality and things that take you away from what's going to protect your family from the bad side of life, right? As soon as you do that. And so it's like this, the algorithm is built to get you thinking about wanting and lusting and coveting. And I kind of feel like to me, it's like you have an iPhone?
I actually have a Samsung guy.
Okay. I'm going to show you my iPhone just for the purpose of this.
Okay.
All right. So this, what is this?
Well, it's an Apple.
Right? What is missing out of the apple?
It's a bite.
It's got a bite out of it, right? So if you go back to Genesis and you talk about why Adam and Eve were kicked out of Eden, is because they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And once they did that, they couldn't keep their eternal lives because it would bring evil into heaven.
Yeah.
That's what the sin was, right? This is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, man.
Yeah.
We get everything, and knowledge isn't true. It's just knowledge. It's like you can have whatever opinion you want, and everybody calls it what they want, and you can have any sex you want, and you can have any, and you do this, and you have much, and the booze, and it's all there. And it's like, and to me, I like, there's no way to take it out of society.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you mentioned it. It's like what Jordan Peterson said is you're not talking to a real person, or you're not. I think it's not a real girl. At this point, the AI is so good, Dan, that it literally is not even a girl. And I see, because I'm building something that, like, powered by AI for men and mental health and all these things, soon to launch. So follow me if you want to check it out. But
we'll make sure we get your links in the description.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But like one thing that really got me going on it was that these AI girlfriend apps are literally crushing millions and millions of users per month. And that makes me think like, hey, we're so broken as a society that we have good men sitting there on their phones talking to an AI girlfriend because they do not have the self-confidence to get up, to go to the gym, to start building their own self-belief, to go out and actually have the willpower and confidence to actually speak to a real woman. Like, that's where we are. And it's like, if we're there, like, we are so screwed as a society. If this is the direction we keep going, like, men are born to hunt, we're born to lead, we're born to fight for good and everything we want in our lives. And now, as a society, we're sitting on our phones talking to a AI girlfriend because she makes you feel good and she knows what to say to you. And it's just like we're creating these scenarios where we are building the perfect world, but we're also ruining the men and society and everything that we're built upon for thousands of years. So that fires me up inside because it's like, bro, you're so bad, like you're so scared to talk to a real girl, and but you need it so bad you can talk to an AI. It gets me going, Dan.
Buddy, that's well said, and I agree. My son is 19 years old, and when he was a young boy, like 5, 6, I taught him how to talk to girls. I said, listen, look, here's the deal. You
You
got to
got
ask
to.
questions. You got to ask questions, man. You can't don't make it about me. You make it about them. And he had 2 sisters that also helped him out quite a bit too, right? But it was like there was times in my life where he became a flirt with girls, and he when, when he was about 10, I took him out for 10 or 11. He started doing that because I was divorced, right? So
Yeah.
I'm dealing with that, and he started doing this thing where he was looking for a girlfriend for me, right? So he's like, so he would go to these women and he'd say, "My dad thinks you're cute," and then one day, we're at Subway, and he's just talking to girls, and girls loved him because he's blonde hair, blue
Seriously.
eyes, athletic kid, like cute and smart, and
Well, it
he
helps
goes up
with
to
your
this girl,
confidence,
and
right? Like even if you like,
oh
even
yeah.
just to talk, and that's not even like you can remove a girl from the equation, and just talking to a stranger, man, because like you probably
But I
noticed this
think
too.
girls are the root of it, right? Because that's where our rejection comes from. Like women
Seriously,
don't have to face rejection like men have to face. And this is not a shot against women. One of the things I want to make sure we talk about in this before I let you go, is what we have to watch out for while we're trying to help men,
yeah,
right? Because there are some pitfalls in this, right? But women are like, that's how we overcome rejection, man. You had to ask a few girls out. Like I'm 53, man.
yeah,
Like there was no phone, there was no chat lines, there was no
that's it.
phones. Like you had to walk up to a girl, and you were a coward if you called her. Like you literally had to walk up to her, make conversation. Hey, you want to go to the dance? I mean, none of us were smooth, right? Like it was awful, right? It was awful.
Sometimes you had to
But
ask a
that's
few girls to go to the dinner.
you don't bat 500 at that game, brother. You don't.
Yeah.
That's not the
But like
deal.
those no's, like even like getting a no, and like then you adapt and you learn, and like you change the way you speak, you change the way you talk, like your tone, your tonality, and what you said, and like so you're adapting and you're getting better, and like that no leads to a yes, like in the next person. You know what I mean? So I feel like we've lost that. I think the COVID eras. I don't want to talk too much about that, but I feel like this as a whole, men and women together, it's really like broken people's self-confidence and belief in themselves. Like you noticed it probably like if you're out for a walk, I've noticed this a lot lately, or even in the store or whatever, like people can't even make eye contact with you no more, and it's just like you're that scared to look at me in the eyes and smile that you're that scared of like a human interaction or a conversation that you need to like look away or look down. And it's just like, man, we just need to make everyone better. And I feel like if you can change your life as a person, come out of rock bottom and just stick to a plan and stick to what you told yourself you were going to do, people are going to take notice, right? It's like your friends or your family, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, Dan, you changed," and because Dan changed, I can change because they see you, they know you, and they've been like, that guy has been through a lot, and he had the willpower to do it. I can do it too. And by one person, after like one person lifts another person up, and that person lifts another person up, and that's how we can
Mhm.
truly change the world and really start living to our, because like I know Andy says it the best, but though as crazy as the world is right now, and as messed up as everything is, and all the media and all the things telling you, and the Instagram what we talked about, and all these bad things and vices, the best thing we can do as a person is become the best version of ourselves, because by us becoming doing that and doing the hard work and changing like even all the bad and changing our story completely, people are going to notice, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to be like, man, that guy changed, I can do it too. And that's all we got to do is just focus on ourselves, focus on becoming the best version of you, and that's going to change another person, and that person's going to do the same thing, and then it's just a never ending cycle. And I truly believe that's why I do what I do, and I'm sure you too, Dan. So
Well, Kyle, I think that you're, and respectfully, I think that you're evolving past what you just said, because I think the next step, and I really believe this, is the service part.
yes,
And it's not, yes, you can't. 10 years ago, I wanted to help men, and I was, lost and drunk and broken, and I couldn't help myself. And then so I figured out eventually you know, and I was a keynote speaker at the time, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, I had a good message, and there was positivity, and there was, I mean, heck, I think I even threw God in it back then. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know him, but I threw it in there. I don't. But what happened is through the course of, like I said, that it was that Tony Robbins thing, and then it was in this path, and okay, so then I had to fix myself, but then eventually you come to a place where you have to be in service of other people.
Yes.
And when you're in that, you can't do it when you can't get out of bed. You can't do it when you
Oh,
haven't
you
got, when you
can't do
can't pay your
nothing.
bills, you know,
Seriously.
like you can't, it's hard to be in service of your family if you're hungover. It's hard, man. Like people know this, right?
No.
But then all of a sudden you're in service. Obviously you're in service of your daughter. You're in
Yeah.
service of your wife. That's your job as a man, right? And you can't do that if you're not sober minded.
Yeah.
You have to keep things on the rails. And that service now, here you are, and you're servicing your bad word. You're in service of men as a greater whole now,
Yeah.
because you're showing them how they can pick themselves up. But I think the evolution is, and I'll tell you where I believe it'll end for you, and you can disagree with me, but that's fine. I think the evolution is we become in service of other people, and that ends up leading us to God.
100%.
That's how it worked for me. That's I mean, I can say selfishly that's how it worked for me,
You
but I've
need
seen
to
your path.
believe that there's somebody there. There's a bigger, higher power helping you through it. It's like if you don't have that belief, I think it's very hard. And that's one thing I've always told myself is like you deserve more, and like you end up sitting there and you're praying and you're wanting and you're visualizing, and I believe in all of that stuff because it just starts showing up. That people like you start thinking about something, a business or a plan or something. Like even us connecting, it's like you start thinking, and then you get a lead and you get a person, and it's what you do with it. And if you're not like there mentally, physically, emotionally, you're gonna miss the opportunity, right? Like it's gonna be right there in front of you, but you won't see it because you're lost, distracted, and broken. But if you start visualizing and you start believing and you start trusting that there is a higher power like out there watching you and believing in you, he'll start giving you things. And if you're not paying
It's pretty
attention,
wild when you see it too. Like it's pretty wild,
it's
man.
100%
Yeah.
wild. And then that stacked beliefs, and then you start stacking those beliefs on top of other beliefs, like you know what I mean? The wins and the like it all just starts coming together. And I think you just really need to start your day one, start there, and then have the belief in yourself that you can do it. And I feel like you will be able to just stack wins after wins, and then your life just starts slowly getting better and better, and the momentum starts stacking, and you can become the person you want to become. It's I'm living proof, you're living proof, and there's a million other people that have done it too. So
Kyle, that's awesome. That's an amazing place to end. That was a great interview. Thank you so much for your time.
thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and we'll definitely stay connected. And looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be in touch with you about. I'm going to plug this while I've got you on here, just so I get it on film again. Unspoken Fire has our first event on October 4th in Edmonton, and we are looking to help men, and we're looking to provide resources and funding for men's issues. I am not a mental health expert. I am not a mental health specialist. I do not have an education, but I know men need help, and I'm just trying to help. So if the word mental health gets put in there, I'm not telling you I can cure you. That's not my deal. I'm not a crisis guy, but I know that there are people around your local neighborhood who can help you. And that's what we're trying to get men to understand. So Kyle, it's been an absolute pleasure, brother.
Love it, Dan. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Okay.